Very good morning. Very good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a long day today, and I want to thank you all for staying back. I'm probably the last presentation for the day, and we've been through quite a hectic week, and actually I was not too keen on being a speaker at this forum when Naomi first invited me. And then Geraldine had mentioned to us that don't worry, this session is not going to be about ships and ports. And it's going to be about diversity in the organization. And, well, I've known them both for a very, very long time. So I said, okay, let's give it a try. But I'm quite surprised at the large turnout today. Basically, I'm not an academician, so I will not be having very much statistics like my two distinguished panelists. I'm more of a practitioner, and I'll just ramble around, and we'll see if there's anything which needs to be questioned at the end of the session. I'll try and answer them. Anyway, just one more thing. I'm quite honored to be the only man on this esteemed panel, and thank you very much, IAPH. Let's look at the definition of diversity, smart thinking. When I first went into this topic, I said, let's find out what it actually means. So I went up and looked at the Webster's Dictionary, and it's basically said that it's the inclusion of different types of people in a group of organization, and it also encompasses acceptance and respect. It means understanding that each individual is unique and being able to recognize our individual differences. As one of the speakers had mentioned, these can be along the dimensions of race, gender, sexual orientation, socio-economic status, age, physical abilities, etc. And what about smart thinking? It's actually the ability to understand how memory and experience work while providing methods to implement specific strategies that will enable deliberate, helpful changes to improve our effectiveness. In other words, smart thinking simply means do more and do it better. It is the ability to solve problems using one's current knowledge. And the good news is that it is a skill that one can develop. There are three key areas that we need to be in control of in order to engage in smart thinking. First of all, smart habits, high-quality knowledge, and the application of that high-quality knowledge in our day-to-day living. In drawing up my presentation, I worked with a few people from my senior management just to get ideas from them, because this is what diversity is all about. So I said, let's get a few of my diverse thinking officers. And this is what I've come out with today. The outline of my presentation will be talking about the types of diversity and Malaysia or Port Klang's diversity, challenges we face in accepting, encouraging, and including diversity in the organization workforce. Personal diversity. These are one of the types of diversity I want to talk about. Every individual possesses unique characteristics. It is scientifically proven that part of what makes us unique is the DNA within. Our DNA carry information that determine how organisms within us grow and develop, determining many of our traits and characteristics. This is what we mean when we say inborn talent, and it includes or encompasses age, national origin, gender, education, etc. Looking at successful and dynamic personalities in all fields, including politics, businesses, economics, sports, entertainment, we can identify at some point or in some part of their existence the influence of diversity. An organization that is able to hire individuals with different traits and capabilities, different characteristics, and talents will surely create a strong and better performing workforce. An example is our Prime Minister, or rather former Prime Minister Tun Dr. Mahathir. He was the fourth Prime Minister of Malaysia. He was the longest serving Prime Minister in the country, holding the post for 22 years. His father was of Indian ancestry, and his mother was of Malay descent. So there you can see the diversity, and for all his contributions, he's known today as the Malaysia's father of modernization. Cultural diversity. Here are many separate facets that emerge around the globe and differ markedly from each other, yet living together. These cultural differences that exist between people are language, dressing, traditions, religion, upbringing. Each culture is unique in itself and has got reasoning based on their civilizations, bringing about significant variations in the way societies organize themselves and in the ways in which they interact with the surrounding environment. Cultural diversity is a driving force of development, not only with respect to economic growth, but also as a means of leading a more fulfilling intellectual, emotional, moral, and spiritual life. In multicultural societies, there are increasing numbers of intermarriages, which not only create bonds between families, religions, and cultures, but also introduce this new society of mixed heritage individuals. These individuals will have a much wider, broader, and unique perspective on things, as he or she will have two heritages to discover and find connection with. Food is an integral part of Malaysian society. When you think of Malaysia, the thought of our delicious and unique Malaysian cuisine is not very far behind. Food is definitely one of Malaysia's identity and pull factor. For those of you who have visited Malaysia before, Malaysian food is renowned for its diversity, its blend of spices. Due to the great diversity of cultures in Malaysia, food recipes are based on an interesting mix of Malay, Chinese, and Indian cultures, creating an abundance of food and styles to suit all tastes. Some of our famous and most beloved dishes are satay, nasi lemak, which is a kind of coconut rice, and you have the roti canai or the chapatis, the dim sum, biryani, fried noodles, laksa, and others. I know it's about lunchtime, just hold on a while. It can be said that Malaysians share this infinite bond on food due to our blend in culture. In fact, most of our social networking activities is centered around food. Malaysia is probably one of the few rare countries that you can see people out and about at any time of the day, even into the wee hours of the morning, sitting around having a drink or sharing a meal. Food is definitely a binding factor for Malaysians, around which many conversations have taken place, many ideas have formed, and many valuable strategic alliances have blossomed and strengthened. Origin, geographical diversity. Although it is accepted that natives are the original people of the land, however, in most countries around the world, there are citizens whose ancestors were migrants from different parts of the world. This immigration had created a diversity based on the origins. And then you've got the economic diversity. This is where you have multi-dimensional concepts that includes products, workforce, skills, capabilities in a local economy, in addition to how well that economy is able to compete in the global marketplace. In this globalized, borderless world, the current economic market is special and dynamic. As the world expands, globalized trades, participation from each and every personal individual with different backgrounds and specialities is crucial to understand and adapt to the diversity of the current and potential market. Globalization requires more interaction among people from diverse cultures, beliefs, backgrounds than ever before. People no longer live and work in an insular marketplace. They are now part of a worldwide economy with competition coming from nearly every continent. For this reason, organizations need diversity to become more creative and open to change. Maximizing and capitalizing on workplace diversity has become an important issue for management today. Diversity in the workforce gives a better understanding as well as insight into not only on products, services, but also in the way of doing business in any local or international economy. And then we talk about gender diversity. In Malaysia, for instance, in the past, all women in the workplace were automatically assigned to temporary or part-time or low responsibility jobs because it was a norm that their first priority was taking care of the families. In addition, there was widespread belief that women were not as capable as men, either physically or mentally or emotionally. Participation in a predominantly male workforce offered little space for women to shine. Today, however, things are different. Women generally are not seen as inferior to men and are slowly being accepted as being on par or even excelling over their male counterparts in every field. Women have proven to be strong and formidable leaders, being able to cope and perform just as well as her male colleagues. Organizations have been slowly adjusting to these changes, learning to treat women as the equals of men. A research conducted recently found women representation in an organization achieve greater diversity in opinions, greater attention to managing and controlling risk, improve corporate governance and ethical behavior, broader insight into economic behavior, consumer choices, and will definitely boost sales and returns on investment. An example here, which I'd like to highlight, was a Malaysian, or rather, she was born to a Malaysian father and an Australian mother, and she's none other than Penelope Wong, or she's known as Penny Wong, who has represented the South Australian Senate since 2002. Coming back now to Malaysia, I'm sure most of you are aware that the people of Malaysia come from various origins: India, Sri Lanka, China, Indonesia, and the surrounding Malay archipelago. While Malaysians of diverse origins, cultures, and traditions blend together, the country benefits widely from this close cooperation and sharing of expertise and knowledge. The One Malaysia concept, articulated by our current Prime Minister, is a positive step to make national integration. The principles of the One Malaysia Foundation encourage public discussions, participations in critical social development, public issues, and programs. Malaysia is brought together by this One Malaysia concept now, especially its stresses on national unity and ethnic tolerance. It will enable Malaysians to further improve education, technology, science, art, music, and culinary skills. When a nation lives peacefully without prejudice and discrimination, the country will prosper to greater heights, and hence a society of love, trust, care, and mutual respect will be created. Malaysia's economic diversity is based on a natural progression from an agricultural-based nation, stemmed from the need of people to sustain a livelihood. We then progressed to small trades, businesses that cropped up from the influences of these different people from mining backgrounds that settled in Malaysia and made it their home. From then on, we grew to a manufacturing nation, pooling our natural geographic resources such as tin, palm oil, and rubber. As we moved into a globalized and borderless world, Malaysia too is becoming more diverse in the way of doing business, paving way to a more service and technological-based economy. The emphasis on diversity, which is in line with the new economic model, explains it as a source of strength, the promotion of sustainability, and social responsible investments. The Malaysian government has also embarked during our 10th Malaysian Plan, which is from 2011 to 2015, to empower women as being one of the key agendas of the plan, where the government will increase its efforts towards addressing issues, confronting women, to enable them to realize their full potential and participate more effectively in the economic and social development of the country. According to our Prime Minister's remark, which he made recently, he said the female labor participation rate in 2012 was 49.5%, which means that just under half of women of working age are employed. This figure exponentially increased to 52.4% in 2013, putting the country on track with its target to hit the 55% mark in 2015. While there are efforts to boost women's role in the government and corporate services to ensure a better and stronger workforce, Port Klang, being one of the busiest ports in the world, has also not been left out from this attempt to empower the position of women representations in the administration. We are a good example of how a company emphasizes women's role in the port administration. Some of our successful women in Port Klang is Madam Azura, who is our Assistant General Manager of Administration, our legal advisor, Madam Fazila, and our IT manager, Madam Noraida, and our corporate comms manager, Ms. Shanti. So you can see the diverse makeup that we have got among the women. And we've also got our private terminals, where at Northport, we have Madam Norlinda, who is the head of the Container Services Division, and you have Madam Nor Azlinda, head of finance at Northport, Malaysia. And then at Westport, we have Ms. Chan Chu Wei, who is actually a non-executive director of Westports, and the HR manager at Westports, Joanne C. The glass ceiling barrier. This is an intangible barrier within a hierarchy that prevents women or minorities from obtaining upper-level positions. In Malaysia, the ceiling has been broken, as seen in Port Klang, and in other areas. Two other women Malaysia is proud of in our current central bank governor, being Tan Sri Dato Sri Dr. Zeti, and one of our pioneer women ministers, Tan Sri Rafida Aziz. So in closing, ladies and gentlemen, it is well understood that an organization's success and competitiveness depends on its ability to embrace and incorporate diversity to realize its beneficial outcomes. Organizations employing a diverse workforce can supply a greater variety of solutions through a diverse collection of skills and experience, as well as a larger pool of ideas and experience. The biggest challenge that we face is that knowing and doing are poles apart. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to end my session today, and if there are any questions which you'd like to ask, I'll try and answer them later in the discussion. Thank you very much.